Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Meet Me in the Center. My name is Andrew. For those who have watched before, no, unfortunately Shadow is not lying on my bed. For those of you who are new here, I would suggest quickly checking out my part 1 of my introduction. It will just quickly explain what the point of this YouTube channel is and what I'm doing, basically. That will be in the description below, so check that link there. For anyone who has seen some of my videos, welcome back. Today I'll be continuing my series on the Earth, conservation, and global climate change. This is going to be part 4, and we're going to get into the meat of it today, global climate change. So, does global climate change exist? Of course it does. Don't be silly. Global climate change is a cycle that has been happening on Earth for 3.42 billion years. Billion with a B. 3.42 billion years. That's a couple billion more than how long people have been here, I believe. Basically, it's just a natural cycle of heating and cooling periods that take place on the Earth. So does it exist? Of course it does. Are we having an effect on it? That's an interesting question. Yes, we are. But how much are we actually having an effect on it? And that's a lot of what I want to get into in this video today. Climate change, although people want to frame it as a black and white issue of either not even so much it's happening or it's not happening, because it's happening, and if most people know that it's happening, but they're framing it as it's a man-made issue or a human-made issue. But it's not that black and white. There are thousands of variables when it comes to what affects climate and climate change. You can go online and you can get long lists. I'm just going to point out a couple of them here. Okay, so how much ice is on the Earth? Basically, if there's a lot of ice on the Earth, it reflects the sun's rays that would normally absorb into the Earth and cause heating. So that will cool down the Earth. That will cause cooler temperatures. The average distance between the Earth and the Sun. Now, I'm not talking about in a year period, because obviously, if it's your summertime, you're closer to the Sun. If it's wintertime, you're further away. I'm talking about every one of those rotations, there's an average distance that we are from the Sun. But that can change. Sometimes it's closer and sometimes it's farther away. And if it's closer, that means it becomes naturally warmer. If it's more farther away, it becomes naturally cooler. Things like volcanic eruptions can affect temperature on Earth. If there have been a lot of volcanic eruptions, or there have been a couple major volcanic eruptions, the amount of dust in the atmosphere can actually cause what's called a nuclear winter, where basically the sun's rays aren't able to get through that dust to hit the Earth, and so not able to warm it up as much. Even things like sunspots, the amount of sunspots. If there are less sunspots, then it will naturally be a little warmer on Earth. If there are a lot of sunspots, it will be a little bit cooler. Now, we can affect one of those variables that I just pointed out. We affect how much ice based on how much we affect the temperature of the Earth ourselves. But as far as I know, we can't control the distance to the Sun, the distance that the Earth is from the Sun. As far as now, I don't think we can control volcanic eruptions, and we certainly can't control how many sunspots are on the Sun. So there are things that affect climate that are not under our control. And we need to stop this arrogance of thinking we're the end-all be-all and everything is happening because of us, and start realizing that there are these other factors involved. And instead of saying we are or we aren't, we need to start figuring out how much we are. So how much of a role are we actually having on climate change? How much are our actions increasing the amount that it would naturally be warming? Because we are in a naturally warming period. We are coming from the last ice age and we're going towards a warmer climate. That's where our natural cycle would be. We're just not sure how much higher the temperature will be because of our actions. And I think more than anything else, we need to figure that out, because that is what's going to be the place where we can actually do something to help reverse some of what we've done. Now, if you're one of these people who are stuck on your beliefs and still believe that the humans are the only reason for climate change, I have a question for you. But before I ask you the question, I want to give a little bit of a history lesson here. So, 150,000 years ago, ice cores that we've taken show that in about a 1 to 2 year period, the average temperature of the Earth rose 10 degrees Celsius or 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Put that into perspective. Right now, we're worried about a 2 to 5 degrees Celsius increase or a 3.6 to 9 degree Fahrenheit increase. So think about double the maximum of that in a much shorter time frame. And if we're to believe what the history books are teaching us right now about where we were as human beings, and truthfully, there is some evidence now that suggests that they're wrong, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. If I go into that, it will be another video. So for now, just let's pretend that they're right. So 150,000 years ago, Homo sapiens only became Homo sapiens 300,000 years ago. So we're still only in Africa, and we're just barely humans at this point. We may have just mastered fire. Generally, they think that 150,000 years ago is the farthest extent to where we may have mastered fire. I believe we probably had at that point, but that's just my opinion, and I don't really have scientific backing for that. That's just my opinion. But here's my question. How could humans, only in Africa, just barely a human, and only just mastering fire, cause that 10 degrees Celsius raise in temperature over a 2-year span? If it was only humans and only humans cause it, how could they have caused it? By burning wood? So over the past, actually more than 100 years, but let's just say 100 years to make it easy. Over the past 100 years, we have burned much worse things than wood when it comes to pollutants in our atmosphere causing global warming. And not only that, there are 7.5 billion more of us doing it. And we haven't gotten to half of that result in 100 years. Now, to be fair, I wish I had an answer as to why this happened. No one really does. There are some historians and scientists and geographers have some theories, but they generally don't account well enough for it. The theories aren't very sound. It may have been a combination of things. We just haven't been able to figure it out yet. So, yes, like I said before, global climate change is real. It's a natural cycle that happens, and we are adding on to that cycle and are potentially making it hotter than it would normally get at the end of that cycle, or at the max point of that cycle. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing. Look, Shadow just made an appearance. Well, there you go. Hey, buddy. So yeah, we don't know how much of an effect we're actually having, and I think that's the major problem. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the next video. So if you like this video, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you want. If not, hey, that's completely up to you. You do you. Until then, I will see you. Bye bye.